Welcome to part 2 of the GlobalDict tutorial. Now you may notice I have my video editor in front of me right now, and that's because I did the entire tutorial without recording the game output. Sometimes we make mistakes, right? Anyway, I'll go ahead and overlay the game output. You might notice that the entire save state will work on every output because the tutorial's already done. So any progress you see, all you're going to see is the final results. So, my bad. Sorry about that. And welcome to part 2 of GlobalDict. On with the show. Welcome to part 2 of using GlobalDict. And since I'm a GlobalDict, we're going to get started right away because we don't need a bunch of lame jokes from me. This is part 2, so we'll get going. So last time, we went ahead and had this set up. Got this little game going on. And did I fall off? No. Good. Alright, and if I press F1, there we go. Alright, and if I press F1, it saves the position. And if I close the game and run it again, if I press F3, the position of our player changes to where we saved the position at with F1. We did that by using GlobalDict. You could watch part 1. You can watch part 1 of the GlobalDict videos to see how we did it. We're moving right along. So now what we're going to do is we have all these cylinders inside this box here that he pushes around. And what we want to do is we want to save the state of the level, right? So we want to save the player position, and we want to save the rotation and position, the orientation rather, and position of the cylinders. So when we load the game, everything is the same from where we left off. So you'll notice here, we created a collection. It'll let me click. Why won't it let me click? Do I still have the game open? I still have the game open. Okay. So if we look here, we have this collection called Stuff to Save. And we have each cylinder in here and our player. So what we can do is we can write a for loop to update all that stuff to GlobalDict. I'm going to go ahead and delete these texts. You can watch part 1 to see why we use the text and basically to display the global dictionary in BGE. And, it was just used so you guys can learn more about using text to show properties, right? So I'll go ahead and delete those objects. And now what we're going to do is in our use GlobalDict component, we're going to change it. So right now all it does, our use GlobalDict component basically just adds a key to the global dictionary called player position and saves the value, the XYZ values of the player position as a list inside the dictionary, right? Because you can set a list in Python. You can set a list to be a vector. You could set a list to be the values of a vector. And so what we're going to do now is we'll go ahead and get rid of this because we're going to use a for loop to do it for everything. So first we need to create a variable for our collection called stuff to save. And so we'll do, we'll call this save stuff. Variable called save stuff is equal to, we have to use the BPY class, so we're going to have to import it because we're using Blender's API instead of BGE's. So we'll do import BPY. You know what? I'm going to bring back the dictionary text just because it'll look crazy to show it all. So let's do that with an undo. So we'll just delete the bottom one. Move this one up here and we'll make it the text a lot smaller. S to scale, people. All right. This way we get an output without having to print stuff. All right. So we're going to set save stuff equal to bpy dot collections. It's a bpy dot data dot collections, and then we need to do the name. So stuff to save. And I misspelled it, and I'll keep the misspelling. So it's stuff to saved. All right. And then I'll be a little OCD tonight. I don't care. All right, stuff to save. And we'll save that in our blend file, and then we'll go here and do stuff to save. And then our for loop is going to check what every object is in here. So we'll do for object in save stuff. Then we need to set a variable for an object. So we'll call this sil plus player. So we'll call it sil underscore player, just so we know what we're saving, is equal to self dot object dot scene dot objects, and then we're going to do obj dot name. And if we look at the documentation for it, right, it says right here, unique data block ID name within a same type or library, and it's a string. So what this does is this basically provides the string name in our blend file of each object in the collection. So obj.name will basically cycle through each of these over and over again. So we'll set the variable to that during the for loop. If I don't typo crap. All right, good. And then next, we need to add the properties we want to save for each of these. So we're going to want orientation and we're basically going to want orientation and position. So we're going to have two lists. So we'll do so we're going to do bge.logic.globalDict. And then what we'll do is we'll use that object.name again string, and we're going to add a more to the string. So we'll do obj.name plus, and then we'll do underscore orientate. Orientation will be, that's fine. I like to make my things shorter, but oh well. Orientation is equal to, and then we're going to go ahead and make these we'll go ahead and make these a quaternion because we're using physics, and so we won't get gimbal lock on our Euler angle. It may not matter because we got a 4 underneath it, but so we'll do is equal to obj dot, and we're going to use local orientation because it's local to the orientation. So obj dot, oh, it's going to be, I'm sorry, it's going to be sil player dot local orientation dot, we'll go ahead and use a quaternion. If you want to learn about quaternions, there's a lot of good game design video. There's a couple. There's like one that's like a lecture that's all right, and then there's a really good one that's a guy explaining it with like a web app. If you just look up like what are quaternions, whatever. All you need to know is that basically they represent rotation with 4 values. W, which is the axis of rotation, and then X, Y, and Z, which is a scalar that's relative to that axis. And based on how far the scalar is pulled out, is how much it rotates on the axis. If you understood that, then you know what I'm talking about. If not, read about quaternions or watch a video. I don't know. And try using them because they're awesome. Next is we need a this also needs to be converted to a list, so we'll convert it to a list. That way we have the 4 values that we can save to a file, because you could save a quaternion to a pickle file probably, and it'll still show up as vector, but if you end up having to use something like JSON or whatever, it's basically going to turn all to a string and not be useful. So we're going to make it a list, and if you assign a list with the correct number of values to a quaternion, Python will just kind of auto-convert it, so it's nice. Which we will do when we create the load function. So we're saving that, and so basically what it's doing right now, so far our code, is going through every object in this collection and adding a value to with the object name underscore orientation to the GlobalDict as a key, and then the value of that key value pair in the GlobalDict will be the orientation, the current orientation. So as the rotation of these objects change, you'll see that change. So that'll be pretty cool. So let's go ahead and test this. Actually, it's already complete code. So what we'll see is in our text up here, the player will stay the same. We'll see the cylinder orientations. The player orientation should stay relatively the same. It might bump a little, and then as he knocks into these things, those orientations for the cylinder should change. So let's watch it happen. Oh, I might have to save this first and reload it. And then try play. Oh, we got an error. Let's see what we got. Oh, collection object is not iterable. Okay. So it's because we have to do save stuff.objects. Oops. Thank you, Vim. Right. So insert save stuff.objects. There we go. So I had to add dot objects here under this collection because that's the we need the objects. If I just do collections, all it's going to return is this. So, and this value is basically a value of stuff saying, hey, this stuff's in here, but it's not the actual object. So we have to do self.object scene objects. There we go. Now if I do this, save it, reload it, and then when we hit these things, bam, you see their orientation changes. Still have some errors though, let's see. No errors, but I'm wondering why my guys are... Okay, you're here, you're there, you're there, you're there. Oh, I bet the dot issue is happening. So let's go ahead and change the names of these just to make them better. So cylinder 0, cylinder 1, cylinder 2, cylinder 3, and player. All right. Now let's try this again. Save it. Bam. So the cylinder orientations are changing. Bam. And they're getting saved to the GlobalDict. All right, good. All right, now we've done that. Wondering why the heck this guy's disappeared. Oh, his render thing's turned off. That's why he's disappeared. Okay, he's not visible. All right, so they're all there. Next, we're going to add the position of every object in that collection. Oops. So we'll do BGE logic GlobalDict obj.name plus equals, and we'll do position is equal to list sil player dot world position. Now we've done that, we now have, we'll go ahead and show this. We're going to go ahead and print it out though so we can see the whole thing. So print, we'll add it down here. Print BGE logic.globaldict. And we're going to go ahead and get rid of this text because it's going off the screen. It's not that useful. And we'll save it. We'll move this up so we can look at the dictionary. And we'll play it. Okay, we see those numbers rapidly changing when he hits the cylinder in our printout. Cool. All right, so in our use global dictionary, it's now updating the dictionary with the position and orientation of everything in this collection. So now what we want to do is be able to save it. Now the cool thing is everything we need is already in there in our save function. It's going to get the GlobalDict. It's basically when we press F1, it's going to create a save game file. Pickle is going to dump the global dictionary to the file. And then if we press and release the F3 button, we'll see it'll set the GlobalDict to load the pickle file and set it to the GlobalDict. But what we need to do now, though, is we need to apply all that information to it. So we need another for loop. So after our load, we need to add a for loop to go through everything and stuff to save and apply it. So we'll do that. And we already got our sleep functions, so we don't have to worry about data racing. So we need to get rid of this line here. Come on, Dim. All right, there we go. Next, we'll do... So what we're going to do here is, this will happen when F3 is pressed, so we'll do... First, we got to create the collection variable. So we'll just call it Cole. Hi, Cole. And is equal to bpy.data.collections stuff to save. And we'll do a for loop for object in Cole.objects. Then we'll do load stuff. We'll go ahead and make this the same. So we'll call player sil instead of sil play. I get superstitious and don't want to make any of my variables have the exact same name. So even though it's a local variable because it doesn't have self in front of it, if I was copying and pasting code, I wouldn't care. But if I'm writing it out, I like to make all my variable names different just so I know what I'm looking at. Next, so we'll do self.object.scene.objects obj.name, and then we'll do next is we could actually copy it from up here, so we have to invert it. So yank that to our register, go down, and we'll do paste, but what we're going to do is we're going to invert these. So we need to convert, we need to go ahead and create variables to set these to. So we'll do, this is going to be a little memory beefy, but I don't care. Because converting the lists of the orientation into quaternion might make it run pretty slow, but not this game, but a bigger game it might. But self dot, oh, player cell dot orientation is equal to, and then we'll do, oh, I have to bring in the math. I think I have to bring in math utils. And we'll call it mu, because I hate typing math utils out. Alright, so we'll do target orientation is equal to mu dot quaternion of our orientation GlobalDict value for each object. And then we'll do target position. Since it's already a list, in Python will convert that list to a vector already, so we don't have to worry about that. So we'll go ahead and do orientation first. So player cylinder dot local orientation is equal to target orientation. And then we'll do player cell dot world position is equal to BGE dot logic dot GlobalDict obj dot name plus position. And we'll look up here, make sure I spelled it the same way. Yes. Okay. All right, so now we've done that, we now have two for loops. We have our for loops that does the easy part, creating the GlobalDict values as lists from the object, the values of the object's orientation and position, right? And then down here we have another for loop after we press F3 that's going to basically load the file, assign GlobalDict to the file, then it'll go through the collection, and on this for loop, it'll create a new quaternion with the actually, this might be pretty efficient because this variable will self-terminate after every cycle of the for loop, so it may not affect performance too much. We'll find out. So it creates, it takes the list from the orientation list, makes it a quaternion, and then it'll set the local orientation to the target orientation, so to that quaternion. And we do that with the math utils. If you ever want to import a class and make it a variable, you just do as and a shortened name. That way you don't type as much. Every keystroke is more time you're wasting. All right. Then for this one we just set the world position. Since it's already a list of 3 values, we just set the world position equal to the list of the position. All right, so let's test it out. And we'll get rid of the print statement. We don't need that gumming things up right now. We just want, actually, we'll leave it for now. This can run slow, I don't care. All right, next. And the print statement doesn't really make it slow, so save it. How did this get so big? Oh, because I typed more. Okay. All right, let's see if I did this in one go. Okay, well, I don't got any errors. The game's working, so that's good. I may have won and done this. That'd be nice. How unlike me. Okay, we're creating some chaos here. I really got to fix the movement on this character, but I don't care. It's about saving, not about playability. Come on. Where are you? There you are. Okay, everything's all crazy now. Let's get this guy back towards somewhere. Okay, save. And then we'll go ahead and clear the game. All right, and now we'll reload the game. Oops, I messed up my script. All right, we'll reload the game. Everything's there. And then if I press F3, all these objects should go back to where they are and be all, you know, messed up and turned over. So let's try it. Ready? Look at that. Holy cow. All the objects are where they were before, I think. We just saved a global game state. How about that? And this was my first time, too. You never forget your first, right? Okay. Let's try it again. We'll try it again. We need to iterate. We got to play test a little bit here, make sure. So we'll try and knock things in different ways here. So I'm try not to do it as much. Okay. Yeah, I gotta fix these controls. These suck. I'll do a controller tutorial next. Right. Next. Okay. Then we save. And now we'll go ahead and close the game. And we'll reopen it and we'll see if it looks similar to when we saved. All right, let's load the game. Look at that. We have saved our game state. So now, if you're playing your little crappy block hit cylinder game and you're all engaged and the wife comes up and's like, honey, come to bed. You can be like, but this game doesn't save. I got to stay here. Right now, you can just press F1, go spend time with your wife like you should, and then, later on in the night, kids are all asleep, wife's all tuckered out because, she worked really hard all over the house today. Um, you can press F3 and be right back where you started. All right. So this has been part 2 of how to use GlobalDict. To do this whole project, you can go to part 1 and watch part 2. And yeah, so let's do a quick code review and we'll get out of here. So I'll close the game. And heck, since we saved it to a file, check this out. Let's go ahead and save the game, save our blend file, and let's get out of Blender. All right, we'll simulate quitting the game. We'll reopen it. Oh. All those errors loading Blender because of all the plugins I use to make things look pretty. Sometimes you got deadlines, so you got to cheat when you can. All right. So we got the game back open. So we're back from hanging out with the girlfriend. She made some nice Louisiana comfort food. You're watching, Twilight on the couch because she's a chick and that's what they like, I guess. And we go ahead and, you know, things are done for the night. You get to your computer, you open your game, and then you press F3, and you're right back where you started. All right. So yeah, that's how you use GlobalDict to save the game state to a file. So your players can save their games and then continue on if you happen to make something longer, right? They don't have to start from the beginning because you don't know how to program and use GlobalDict, right? Now you have no excuse. Make your games, add GlobalDict, use it to save stuff. All right. Well, have a wonderful night. You're all beautiful people, and have a great day. Bye.